According to the book Better Game Characters by Design, a game's characters are an excellent tool used by designers to give rise to great, memorable, and meaningful games. If the characters in a game are designed to be deep, complex, mysterious, and charming, they have a better chance of feeling real and relatable to the person playing the game. This makes the whole game world feel real, and allows the player to get lost in the world and explore their own fantasies. Essentially, great character design helps to create an amazing and unforgettable experience for the player, and one of the best examples of this would be within Nintendo's The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker. Wind Waker is arguably one of the most artistically inclined of the Zelda games. Its characters are very fleshed out, colorful, and have gotten huge amounts of praise from game critics worldwide for their diversity and depth. Wind Waker introduced a completely new type of character design to the Zelda series: large heads, expressive eyes, and small noses. Through this heavily anime-inspired design, Nintendo took away some of the more realistic features of previous Zelda games in exchange for its characters to appeal to a much broader audience. Character models should be designed to be interpreted all over the world. The overall simplistic design of all of Wind Waker's characters allows for almost anyone to understand and relate to the game. The face is one of the most important human communication channels. We form relationships by subtly studying and responding to facial cues. Link makes this very easy to do. With his large eyes and face, his facial expressions are very easy for the player to read and interpret. Using Link's reactions to what is happening, the game designers guide the emotions or reactions that the player is supposed to feel. Different facial cues alert the player to the significance of different events happening in the game, as well as portray a character in a more realistic light. When a person studies a face, he or she is also paying close attention to their gaze. The point of interest in whether and for how long the individual makes eye contact can help provide the player with information relevant to the situation at hand. Wind Waker makes use of this by using Link's large eyes to provide hints to the player about what to do next. Subtle cues like this can be used to help guide beginners or players struggling with what to do next into the right actions intuitively. Experienced game designers often use the facial features of NPCs to build connections to game goals and show the player their social role in the context of the game. An example of this in Wind Waker would be Nintendo's use of Link's little sister's endearing face to help the player feel like she is a character that they must protect, which becomes true when she is stolen by an evil bird. Since the player forms an emotional connection to their goal through what seems like real human interaction, they can be made to feel much more immersed in the game. Good body design and careful planning of body language make characters feel even more lifelike and can do wonders in invoking social reactions from players engaging in the game. Wind Waker uses body design and movement to signify the different personalities and intentions of different characters in the game. Link is quick, nimble, and often clumsy. His build is small and somewhat weak-looking. The connections that the player is expected to draw are that Link is young, innocent, and inexperienced. Ganondorf, on the other hand, is huge and has deep, powerful movements. He is a strong and very experienced character that is intended to appear scary and unfriendly. Body language is also important in establishing emotion in the characters of video games. If a character is excited, angry, or surprised, they will have quick and fluent motions. Direct, light, bound, and sustained motion show satisfaction and pride, while sustained, fluent, and light motion signify sadness. Game designers can make use of these types of movements to flesh out characters and their relationships with others. The pitch of a voice can be used to show the personality and identity of a player character, while tonal variations can be used to show emotion and reactions to other characters or events happening around the character at hand. Personality-wise, higher voices signify innocence, while lower voices exemplify power and strength. Wind Waker's unique language, although unintelligible, uses different tonal variations to show the different emotions and relationships of and between the characters. An angry character may speak with a tense voice of higher frequency and intensity, while a sad character speaks slower and with a lower voice. The use of voice in designing characters can help tremendously in fleshing out character personalities and their relationships amongst one another. All of the previously mentioned aspects of character design, face, body, and voice, come together to help illustrate the social roles of characters within a game to the player. Developing clear-cut roles for characters in video games is important for designers who must guide the player to successfully draw the proper conclusions about their allies, enemies, and goals within the game. Well-developed character roles help give rise to powerful emotions based upon the fulfillment of mutual goals for a player. For example, gratitude when a character helps the player character, disappointment when an ally betrays the player, or shared excitement when an ally helps the player win a particular battle. The following is a specific list of social archetypes that are developed within Wind Waker through the use of face, body, and voice, which the player is expected to easily recognize and draw social expectations about. The rescuee, the guide, the ally, the enemy, the boss monster, the archenemy, and the traitor. Recognizing these features leads to a more significant and satisfying experience for the player, as they can understand and react to the implications of the character's specific social roles. In conclusion, this book mainly stressed the importance of relatability of game characters. Relatability to a character is defined by the physical body and facial features of a character, as well as how they interact with both other characters in the game or with the player themselves. Their social relationships, emotions, and personality are illustrated to the player via well-designed facial expressions, body language, and vocal variations. Each of these aspects plays a crucial role in helping the player form connections to and between the game characters, which in turn allows for the player to feel much more engaged in the game itself. This concept goes back to the ideas that were discussed in our 2 assigned books, that successful immersion in a game using well-designed character dynamics and aesthetics from the MDA framework, and the use of characters to establish an engaging and relatable game environment leads to a more enjoyable, memorable, and meaningful experience for the player. Creating meaningful play through the implementation of guided player interaction, in this case using characters, makes up one of the big goals of game designers. We like games that we can feel drawn to, and if the characters are deep enough that they speak to us on an emotional level, we will most likely fall in love with the game we are playing.